Greetings to everyone and welcome back once again to this educational channel on biology. Today let's revise two Form 4 topics. Chapter 5 Metabolism and Enzymes and Chapter 9 Nutrition. Right? So the aim of this video is to train you to practice your techniques of answering essay questions as well as to help you to apply what you have learned in biology from these chapters. Okay? So after you have understood the content of these chapters, then you have to apply it in your knowledge, apply your knowledge to the questions in order to train yourself to write good answers. So many students have told me that writing the essay answers is the most difficult part, and also that it's difficult to score in these sections, right? So let's learn the techniques of answering essay questions. And especially for nutrition, nutrition is a topic that usually comes out in the essay section. Okay, it could come out in the compulsory section, bahagian C also. So let's learn the technique of answering these questions and also what are the topics that usually come up, okay, concerning nutrition. Also enzymes, we have a very good question on enzymes in this video too. All right, so let's begin. So this video will discuss questions from the Molecular Biotrial paper, paper 2, 2021, and the focus is on the Form 4 essay questions, namely Form 4 Chapter 5, Metabolism and Enzymes, and Form 4 Chapter 9, Nutrition. Now, we'll start off with the Form 4 Chapter 5 questions, and they'll be related to Catabolism and Anabolism, and also synthesis of extracellular enzymes, how to write the essay answers for these, okay? And then for the Chapter 9 questions, you'll be about gastric bypass surgery, which is very important to know, and diet for obese people, which is also a soalan ramalan for SPM. All right, how to plan a diet, what kind of diet are you going to plan for obese people, and also for HOTS question, calculation of BMI. All right, we'll find out more about that. Okay, let's begin. Now let us discuss a question from the essay section. So there are two essay sections, section B and section C. For section B, you only answer one question from this section. One question means either question 9 or 10, for example. And each question is divided into parts A, B, C, and so forth. So you must answer all the parts for each question, for one question. All right, let's look at question 9A. All right, so it's related to Chapter 5, Form 4 topic, Chapter 5, Metabolism and Enzymes. Okay. Now, diagram 9.1 below shows two types of metabolism. All right, process X and Y. So, based on this diagram 9.1 here, explain the process X and Y. Okay. In process X, you have to look at the diagram carefully. Don't rush. You must analyze and make sure you know what it is, what process X and Y are. Okay. So you can see a few small molecules, and you can see that with the use of energy, they are all combined together to form a bigger molecule. Okay. So this is the process of synthesis of something, right? And for process Y, you can see that it is broken down with the release of energy, broken down to small molecules. Okay. So pause the video for a moment and try to think of what these two processes are. So in your technique of answering, you should first identify process X and Y, and then state the definition for the process, the definitions for the two processes which are different, and then state the characteristics of process X or Y. You can even give an example of process X and Y. So explain about process X first and then process Y. Process X will be worth 2 marks and process Y is 2 marks too. Okay? So always write more than the 2 points. Write more than 2 points to ensure that you get your full marks. Okay, let's pause the video, and now we'll look at the answer. So check your answers. Now first we identify process X. Process X is the process of anabolism. Okay, so I've explained my video. Think of an ant, A-N. So think of an ant or ants. They like to build nests. So they build things. From small particles like sand, they can build a tall structure, the ant nest, right? So when you see structures or molecules that are built up, okay, small molecules combine to form bigger molecules, think of anabolism, not catabolism. Think of the ants building up their nest. So it's anabolism. Okay, ant. And then secondly, you must give the definition for it. All right. So anabolism is the process of synthesizing complex molecules like these ones here from the simple molecules. Okay. And then state a characteristic. So from this diagram, you can see that energy is absorbed, right? Simple. So this reaction uses or absorbs energy. Think of A like absorb. Anabolism absorbs energy. Okay, to build the complex molecules from simple molecules. And fourthly, what is an example of anabolism? Where substances are synthesized. From the word synthesize, synthesis, comes this process. Yes, it's photosynthesis. So, for example, the formation of glucose during photosynthesis is an anabolic process. So, any two out of the 4 P's. Now, for process Y, we follow the same format. First, identify. So, process Y is the process of catabolism. Okay, think of a cat. Some cats like to scratch furniture and they break down the wood. Okay, when they scratch the furniture with their sharp claws. So catabolism is a process of breaking down. Process of breaking down complex molecules into simpler molecules. The reverse of anabolism. So after that, you can, so this is the definition for catabolism, and after that you can state a characteristic. So this reaction releases energy. As you can see, the energy here, okay, is after the equation, the arrow, that means the energy is released. Example of a reaction that releases energy for your daily activities, that will be breakdown of glucose during what process? Cellular respiration, right? To generate energy. So photosynthesis is the reverse of respiration. Photosynthesis is a process of synthesizing the complex molecules. But in cellular respiration, complex molecules are broken down. For example, glucose is broken down to form water, carbon dioxide, and to also release energy. All right? Okay, so any two of these from this section too. So that will get you the 4 marks. Simple, right? So memorize the 2 processes that are found, that are included in the term metabolism. Metabolism consists of anabolism and catabolism. Now this next question, also on chapter 5, Metabolism and Enzymes, is a popular question, all right, that can come out in the essay section. Okay, soalan ramalan. So let's read from here. The presence of enzymes is very important in the metabolic process. Based on diagram 9.2 above, describe how, extracellular enzymes are produced. Okay, so we highlight this part. How the extracellular enzymes are produced. And we must base it on diagram 9.2. Now, what does it mean by based on a diagram? That means you look at the diagram, you look at the labels. So include all these labels in your answer, right? All these names. And then if you see a process going on inside here, you must also be able to describe it. Okay, now you can see something going, the arrow showing the transport vesicle moving to from the rough endoplasmic reticulum to the Golgi apparatus, and then after that in another vesicle called the secretory vesicle, okay, the substance is brought to the plasma membrane where it's secreted, correct? Okay, all these actions must be mentioned in your description an explanation of how extracellular enzymes are produced in the cell. Okay, so this is 6 marks. All right, so if you haven't done so, pause the video and try to answer this question. So include the roles of all these organelles, okay, in the process of production of extracellular enzymes. Right, let's look at the answer now. Okay, the answer starts with the ribosomes, which cannot be seen clearly here, but they are tiny dots on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, right? So ribosomes synthesize the proteins, okay? Now actually you want to talk about nucleus. If you can see some strands of chromosomes or DNA inside the nucleus, you can mention about the role of the chromosomes. What is the role of chromosomes in the nucleus in production of extracellular enzymes? So you can mention that the nucleus contains chromosomes which carry genetic material, okay, with the code or instructions to make the extracellular enzymes. Okay, the chromosomes carry the genetic material which has the code or the instructions to make the extracellular enzymes. Okay, you can add it in if you want it to be more detailed. All right, but if you start with ribosomes, you have enough points. Ribosomes synthesize the proteins, first of all, on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Next, what happens? So this is a process that is carried out step by step. So we explain step by step. The proteins will enter the lumen of the rough ER here. All right. Lumen means the space inside the rough ER. Okay, rough endoplasmic reticulum. Please spell out in full. Don't write rough ER. And they are transported by the rough endoplasmic reticulum through it. And then after that, the rough endoplasmic reticulum at this point here will enclose the proteins formed in a transport vesicle. So rough endoplasmic reticulum forms the transport vesicles to transport the proteins to where? To the next stop. That's the Golgi apparatus here. Okay, the C-shaped structures with some vesicles at the side. Okay, this is the Golgi apparatus. Now, what's the function of the transport vesicle? Transport vesicle moves towards the Golgi apparatus and fuses with it. Okay, as you can see here. Next, the Golgi apparatus, what's the function? It processes and modifies the proteins to form the extracellular enzymes, which are mentioned in your question. Okay, so mention the extracellular enzymes. So before coming to the Golgi apparatus, the proteins are not yet called extracellular enzymes. They are modified to form extracellular enzymes in the Golgi apparatus. Okay. After that, Golgi apparatus forms the secretory vesicles. That means the Golgi apparatus will package the enzymes in the secretory vesicles, enclose the enzymes in secretory vesicles like this one here. All right. To transport enzymes and secrete them later from the plasma membrane. Then the secretory vesicles move towards the plasma membrane as seen here, right? And fuse with it to secrete the extracellular enzymes out of the cell, right? And you can also give examples of extracellular enzymes to get 1 more mark. So examples are very important too, to be stated in your essay answer. So you can write any one like digestive enzymes, or more specific examples are lipase, protease. So this is the second part of question 9, section part B, and it's related to another chapter, chapter 9 in Form 4 syllabus on nutrition. Okay, now let's read the story about Amina, right? So Amina is 35 years old and obese. Her height is 159 cm and her weight has reached 140 kilograms. Being overweight, she suffers from chronic knee pain and movement problems in her job as a laboratory assistant. Due to obesity problems, Amina wants to have a surgical procedure as shown in the diagram 9.3 above here, right? Now your question is, as the question given is, as a biology student, justify Amina's actions and describe the effects she will have. That's an interesting question, right? So justify means to what? To show or prove to be right or reasonable. That means we have to show that Amina's decision to have a surgical procedure, which is called the gastric bypass here, is reasonable. It's right. And then other than that, you have to describe the effects she will have after the procedure, right? So you must know a lot of details about this surgical procedure, which is mentioned in your textbook, right? So this is a good HOTS question, okay? And if you read up on this, then you have more knowledge to answer this question, okay? So don't just stick to the textbook. You can also read widely from the internet also to prepare yourself for biology. Of course, guided by the topics that are mentioned in the textbook. Right, so let's look at how this gastric bypass procedure is done. Okay, we must understand this before we write down the answer. So the first picture here shows a complete digestive system with the esophagus, stomach, duodenum, and jejunum, the normal digestive system, right? So in this procedure called the gastric bypass, the surgeon, of course, put Amina to sleep first, to sleep for a while, put her under anesthetic, right? An injection of anesthetic to put her to sleep for a while, and then he will cut off this part of a small part of the stomach and join it to the jejunum. So this part is cut off and then join to the jejunum directly. Then the stomach, the other part of the stomach that's bigger, is bypassed. It's not taken out, it's just left there. And it is bypassed means that the food will not go through it anymore, right? Because it's not connected to the esophagus, right? And the duodenum is also bypassed. Duodenum yang telah dipintas. So it bypasses the duodenum and it bypasses the portion of the stomach here. That means the food will travel from esophagus down to the small part of the stomach called the gastric pouch, okay, and no longer called a stomach, a proper stomach, and then to the jejunum. But any secretions from the stomach will also flow down via the duodenum into the jejunum, okay, and then the digestive juices can still digest the food here, okay, but the stomach size has been decreased, all right. And digestion in the stomach and duodenum will be reduced in that way. Okay, now let's try to answer this question. Justify Amina's actions and describe the effects that she will have. Okay, that means to say, why do we think that Amina did the right thing to undergo the surgical procedure? Okay, so you must relate it to her background. Her height is 159 cm and the weight is 140 kilograms. Okay, so that shows that she is very obese, right? So you must mention that and also discuss the effects. Justify actions and discuss the effects. So pause the video for a while and think of what you can state in your answer. Write it down. Right, let's look at the answer now. So we agree to the bypass with the gastric bypass method treatment for treatment for Amina. Okay, we agreed with that because her weight is already 140 kg and the height is only 159 cm, not very tall. So it shows that the BMI or body mass index is about 55.4 kilograms per meter squared, which is stage 3 obesity. Now, in our textbook, we don't study much about anything about the BMI, but this is a popular, has been asked before in the previous SPM exam as a HOTS question. So actually, they can also give you the table to calculate the BMI, okay, the body mass index, which is actually the weight divided by height squared. 140 divided by 159 squared. And that will give the body mass. Now, height is in meters, 1.59. Okay, when you are calculating body mass index. All right, so it's 140 kilograms per 1.59 squared meters. 1.59 squared meters squared, and you come up with a value of 55.4. And there should be a table where from the table you can see that with this index, the person is considered to be in stage 3 obesity, which is the last stage. That means it is very extreme obesity. So next, we can explain how this surgical procedure works, and then what is the effect, okay, and what are the advantages. So how it works: this surgery reduces the stomach size to form just a gastric pouch from a big stomach. Okay, the stomach has been reduced to form just a gastric pouch, all right, and so as to reduce the weight mechanically, all right, meaning how does it do it mechanically? After surgery, with a smaller stomach, Amina will quickly feel full even if she eats less food, right? Because this area will expand already, and then it cannot really be filled with a lot of food. So with just a little food, Amina will feel full because the gastric pouch will be filled up already. Thus, she will eat less than usual. She will sort of feel full and then not eat anymore, all right? So she will eat less than usual and restrict the amount of food that enters the stomach due to the fact that the gastric pouch is already full, okay? Also, less food is absorbed. Okay, so along the way here, less food is absorbed as the part of this digestive system, meaning the stomach and the duodenum, has been bypassed. So less digestion occurs, so less food is absorbed. Less food is absorbed. Now, advantage of this is that it will improve her quality of life, because then she will be able to reduce weight and get rid of her chronic knee pain and movement problems. She'll be able to maintain a normal, healthy body weight and be able to move more freely. All right? So, short-term side effects are, this is from the textbook. So, you can mention 2 or 3 effects. So, they are not very serious effects. I mean, possibly they are not very serious effects. Acid reflux means the hydrochloric acid from the stomach may travel upwards, and then it may come up to the throat area. So that's called acid reflux. The acid moves upwards into the esophagus and throat. Nausea, meaning the feeling of vomiting. Expanded esophagus, okay, because there's less space in the stomach for the food that she's eating. So maybe some of the food may, cause maybe in the esophagus won't be flowing down so freely, so it will expand the esophagus. Certain food prohibitions, meaning that certain food may not be able to be taken. Risk of infection due to the surgery. Long-term side effects, name at least 2 or 3 dizziness, low blood sugar level, malnutrition. But the risk of dying from this surgery is very small. Okay, it's only 0.2%. Or just say risk of dying from surgery is small. That's all. Okay, so any 6 points from the 10 points here will get you your 6 marks. Of course, if you want to mention the points, you have to add in the advantage. Make sure you add in this advantage here. Okay, because this is how you can justify Amina's actions. Now, for HOTS question, you can be asked about the BMI of a person. So what is BMI? It's the body mass index, and it's calculated as the weight in kilograms of a person divided by the square of the height in meters. For example, Amina's weight is 140 and her height is 1.59 meters. Okay, so her BMI is 140 divided by 1.59 squared. And if you have to calculate that out, it is 55.4 kilograms per meter squared. Right? Then referring to a chart, okay, you may be given a chart, you will see that her BMI falls in this category of more than 40. Okay, 55.4, more than 40. She is obese, and she's in the 3rd stage. That means very obese. So any reading more than 40 is considered obese, 3rd stage, right? And the normal BMI for people who are in the normal range of normal weight should have a BMI of 18.5 to 25 kilograms per meter squared. So you can calculate your own BMI. Okay, try and calculate your own BMI and find out whether you're considered thin or normal or overweight, right? Alright, here's a popular question, a soalan ramalan that you can be asked in the essay section. If Amina, who is obese, is not having surgical procedure above, like the gastric bypass, suggest a healthy eating plan for her to reduce obesity. 6 marks or 8 marks. So diet for obese people is important to remember. How to create a diet for obese people. Okay, so your answer should have the fact and then followed by the explanation why you choose this, why you suggest the step to take. Okay, now first of all, you must know your 7 classes of nutrients right now, which are the carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, fiber, water, vitamins and minerals. Okay, and then you ask yourself, what should she do for each type of nutrient? Should she eat more or less of it? Okay, and then you'll be guided to make your answer. So firstly, we talk about the carbohydrate and fat intake. She should reduce her carbohydrate and fat intake. So that's the fact. Why? Because excess fats and carbohydrates are stored in the adipose tissue, and this increases her weight. Okay, so 1 fact, 1 explanation. It's already 2 marks. Now second fact, so she should take low calorie food, and one example is steamed non-fatty food like steamed fish or chicken. Okay, so this may be 1 or 2 marks. And then third fact, she should eat balanced meals based on the Pinggang Sihat Malaysia or Malaysia Healthy Plate, which we have studied from the textbook, right? So in this picture, you see the healthy plate, where now the elaboration explanation is 1/4 of the plate is filled with lean proteins without the fat, a 1/4 plate with whole grains or carbohydrates, and half the plate is filled with fruits and vegetables, which provide the vitamins and minerals. So quarter, half. Okay, so you mentioned that the fruits and vegetables provide vitamins and minerals for maintenance of good health. State the function too. Okay, that may get you an extra mark for the E, maybe E4. Now, F4, 4th step, avoid processed foods or high-fat food, sugary food, fast foods. For example, fried chicken and sweet food like cakes. Okay, then number 5, choose whole grains such as brown rice and oats. And then the elaboration or explanation, which contain more fiber. Now, what is the use of fiber in the diet for obese people? Fiber, when the obese person eats the fiber, it actually contains less calories than the normal food, but it makes the person feel full, right? So that will ensure that the person is taking in less calories. Okay, it'll make the person feel full easier, faster. Now, fact 6, eat more vegetables and fruits and high fiber foods. Now, give examples such as spinach, orange, papaya. Okay, and again, you can, of course, you have already stated here, to provide vitamins and minerals for maintenance of good health, and also to provide the fiber. Now, the fiber is also to prevent constipation, right? So that can be added in. High protein and low fat diet is advised. Okay, the next fact. All right, now we've mentioned low fat diet earlier already, but I can add it in here, and high protein diet. For example, eat a lot of fish and chicken, or even vegetable proteins like nuts and beans. All right, use plant or vegetable oils in cooking, for example, olive oil, and avoid the animal fats when cooking, because animal fats are saturated fats. So eat less saturated fats such as butter or animal fats, which can cause obesity. Okay, the plant or vegetable oils do not cause obesity compared to the animal fats like butter, okay, and other animal fats. Okay, there you have it. You have more than enough points to get full marks for this section. So that's all for this lesson. I hope that you have learned something from it. Do share, like, and subscribe. Thanks for viewing. Goodbye.